welcome to Fine Arts with Basim. As you guys can remember, I started outlining baby Jesus' face. That way it makes it easier to map everything out for myself and to basically fill in the colors. Babies are a little bit more complicated to paint, so it is a challenge for me, but always fun because this picture is very cute. So at this time I want to start painting the flesh. And remember, I told you guys the flesh of babies is a little more rosy, so you want to add a little bit more of the what we call the flesh tint. It's the actual color of the paint. So the rosier, I would say the cuter. The painting, if you wanted to Google it or anything, is called Madonna of the Streets, and it basically depicts a very humble, almost poor Madonna carrying baby Jesus, and it's painted by Robert Ferruzzi. So one side of the face is clearly darker than the other side of the face. So when you put the outlines, make sure that you end up painting actually on, like touching the actual outline, because you don't want to leave any of your canvas white. You want to cover every single spot. Babies, you don't want to put any harsh lines. You want to keep it very soft and light. So what I'm doing right now is I'm actually building layers. So even if I put a very light layer and there needs to be like a shade under the mouth, I can always go back and add more and more layers. That's usually how oil painting is. Keep in mind that it's always easier to go darker than lighter. So if you put a dark color, it becomes a little bit more difficult to make it light. You would have to wait for it to dry completely. But I could safely say it's a little easier the other way around. Okay, and now I'm going to use the very tiny brush once more. I gotta rinse it. Now it's very important that you don't directly wash your oil paint brushes in water because they simply don't mix. The turpentine and the water, or oil paints and the water, they don't mix, just like oil in the water. Filling in all the colors I can't reach with any other brush. To go a little bit darker in there. Still want to leave the baby looking very soft. So it's important to blend well. So cute. Getting there. I'm putting the flesh tint right into the hair. That makes it a little bit more natural. Gotta make sure the brush is very clean for when you're blending. Actually, I have a bigger brush here that I'm using to blend colors make it smoother. And this is a dry brush technique where I have basically nothing on my brush, and it's used to feather. And feathering just means to blend the colors in very softly, or to blur. Okay, I'm gonna get my tiny brush again to fill in some of those empty canvas spots. Okay. It's always good to just leave your canvas and to put it up against something, against the wall or against anything, and to take a look from a very not too far, but enough distance so that you can actually see things that you wouldn't see from very close. That's what I like to do all the time, and I think I'm going to do that now. I'm going to go ahead and start applying some of the color. And I think first we'll go with the mouth. And basically I just mixed red and pink. And again, I'm using a very tiny brush here. Super handy. It's a very plump lip. It's a baby, of course. Also a little bit more intense red for babies' lips. So there's a lot more pinks and reds on babies in general, on their faces. Very rosy, very cute. Start applying a little bit more pink, less red for the lighter parts. Takes a lot of concentration and patience, of course. That's probably rule number one: patience. Okay, don't want to get too dark, so I'm going to flush this out a bit using my feathering brush, which is the biggest brush I'm using at the time. And basically what I'm doing right now is called feathering or blending. Because there's nothing too shapely on a baby's face. For example, the bridge of the nose is very light and round. Of course, once you put all these features together, it becomes, it looks like a baby. So you need to really be aware of the lighting and the shading and things like that on a baby's face when you're painting. Okay, now I'm going to use my very, very tiny brush to color the mouth on the inside. Now you can Google this picture if you're sitting at home. Just find the picture on the internet, or if you even have one at home, I'm sure most people do at least. Just to follow me so that you can actually have a reference. I think that's probably a little bit too... I'm gonna add some skin tone to that. So that it's not too dark inside. The darker the color of the mouth inside the mouth, the more steep it looks, or the deeper. So we want to avoid that. Even the lip a little bit more. And this side of the nostril is also a little bit darker. Or, sorry, of the nose. The right nostril. Okay. Because at this point, it's basically an outward motion to do the eyelashes. Towards myself this time. Oh, that looks pretty good, I think. I'm just going to touch up the lip a little bit. The ear. It's okay to put reds and yellows and oranges and things like that in the ear or anywhere else, even if you don't think they belong, because it blends beautifully. So, I think that's pretty good. I'm going to faintly do the eyebrows, very faintly. Okay. That's pretty good. Okay, so now I'm going to take, it's called ochre, this yellow here. And I'm going to start putting some of the highlights and creating some of those beautiful curls. Putting some of that baby hair in as well. Okay. So far so good. We're on the right track, I believe. I think I will leave it at that for now, and probably move downwards from there. So at this point I'm pretty satisfied with how the painting's turning out. I do like to leave it every once in a while, and generally with paintings you would want to leave the painting every few hours. And come back to it later, so you kind of, you know, it's fresh every time you come back to it, and then you never get bored that way. So thank you guys for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time.